Remake Rewind.
All right, thank you for listening to Remake Rewind, the podcast where we decide if remakes or reboots should have happened. I'm Mike, as always, and with me, I've got Double D. How you doing, Double D?
What up, Mike?
How are you doing this week, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm back to work after a horrible month of jury duty.
That's right. That's right. I forgot you were doing jury duty. How did that go? Was it fun?
Oh, man. No, I mean, this is a 5-week case that I probably shouldn't say too much about, but it was not an exciting crime. I'll say that much.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if we're going to get stuck doing jury duty for 5 weeks, I'd want it to be like a murder.
Like O.J. Simpson case?
Or like something with a bunch of twists, like there was 3 DNA things mixed up, so it could be one of 3 people, and it was like a whodunit.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That'd be cool.
This was very clear-cut and dry 5 weeks of...
Wait, it was 5 weeks and it was clear-cut and dry?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mind was made up like the second day.
Oh, I mean, you shouldn't say that. So there was nothing that could have swayed you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if the evidence showed there's a presumption of innocence, right? I'm supposed to think he's innocent going into it, but, I mean, this guy was guilty.
So I've never had to do jury duty. I've always been able to get out of it. But my question is, so you had your mind made up. How long were you guys in, like, deliberation? Like,
so I was actually a juror alternate. So the alternates don't get to deliberate. So I sat through the entire trial, and then the 12 jurors go and deliberate, and I have to be on call if one of them dies or something. So it took them, I think, like 3 or 4 days.
3 to 4 days, and it was clear cut for you?
Yep.
Damn. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've spent 2 minutes talking about your jury duty.
Heck yeah.
When we should have been talking about movie stuff.
These people are interested in me, Mike. I'm an interesting guy.
No, they're not.
Oh, no, they're not. They're interested in movies and remake movies.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Wasted your time. Damn, Double D, wasting our time, as always.
Oh, man. I thought we were friends.
Oh, we are?
No, I meant the listeners. I thought we were
all
friends.
They hate you.
Yeah. We should do a survey. Can you do a survey on Twitter?
Yeah, I can totally do a survey on Twitter.
Let's do it.
I can even do a survey through our analytics site. I can make a survey and have them go, and it'll actually like track how the survey went.
Ah, dude, let's do it.
Or we
let's
can do like Survey Monkey.
Who's friends? Are we friends, listeners? Are you guys my friends? Would you consider me a friend? If you saw me on the street, if you knew what I looked like, we'd be like, "Hey, Double D, I listen to your podcast. I think you're cool. We're friends."
No, they won't.
No, I doubt it.
All right. Well, anyway, what are we going to be talking about this week?
We are talking about the Big Green Hulk.
The Big Green Hulk. Yep. So, Avengers Infinity War is coming out this month, and I'm definitely excited about it. I've watched both trailers easily 20 times each, and I'm thrilled. So we decided to do kind of like a Marvel month. So normally we don't announce our episodes in advance, but we're going to be doing Hulk this one, and we're going to be doing Captain America for our next episode this month.
Good old Cap.
And we're really excited about it. So we just wanted to have a Marvel-themed month.
Oh, yeah.
So Double D, what's your relationship with the Hulk? The character of the Hulk, the movies?
I unfortunately am a DC fan, so I didn't read too many Marvel comics. I know. Oh, I mean, to the cinematic universe, I'm an idiot. But, so, I mean, I know most of the Hulk story just because I'm a comic book fan in general. I've watched a couple for, not in full entirety, but I know of it. I've watched this Hulk, obviously, and the Incredible Hulk, which is newer, and then the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, which we're not going to address, really.
Yeah, well, I think we can talk about him. Like, I don't think we necessarily need to watch... Like, we didn't watch the Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, or... Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But I think we could talk about him briefly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's the same person as Edward Norton, so he's going to come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, my favorite thing about this whole Hulk thing is the game that came with the first movie. That's probably my favorite thing out of all of this.
Yeah, so I played that game. It was all right, but what I really liked is, so we had that movie game came out, but then they took some of the mechanics that were good in that, and then they made Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which was like a better version of that game.
Yeah, I think that came out when we actually started working together.
No, that game came out like when I was in middle school or high school.
No way.
Yeah,
because I remember
the game was like I had it on like GameCube. We might have talked about it, but it came out when I was in like middle school or high school. I played it on the GameCube or the original Xbox.
Well, I'm all out of whack.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I think we clarified this.
So for me, like most of our listeners will know that I'm a huge Marvel fanatic. Like if they listen to the Spider-Man episode, I was like gushing about Spider-Man and Tom Holland, and I'm a huge Marvel guy. I'm more Spider-Man than any other ones, but I'm a big Marvel guy, and I actually read the movie novelizations of both of these movies that we're covering. I used to read the novelizations of movies, so that's how much of a nerd I am.
That's cool. I wouldn't do that.
No, don't do it. Like it's interesting.
I would
sometimes because they're based off the original screenplay that they shot with. But movies end up with hours and hours of footage, like on the cutting room floor. They don't use everything they shoot,
right?
And a lot of times they'll write a script. They give the script to the person who's going to write the book, and then they end up doing different drafts of the script, and a lot of stuff gets changed. So they're drastically different than the actual movies a lot of the times. Like, I could be wrong, but with the 2003 one with Eric Bana, like, in the book, I'm pretty sure his name is David as well, and then the dad comes around and he's like, your name is Bruce, not David. But in the movie, they call him Bruce the entire time. But,
Bruce.
Little things like that.
The dad is David.
Is David,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So let's summarize the movie before we really start talking about it. You have some summaries pulled up?
I do have one ready for us. But first, I would like to point out this movie is simply called Hulk.
Hulk.
That's it.
Which I'm fine with.
I mean, I guess I would like the Hulk, but I guess I understand. Anyway, let me get to the summary. Bruce Banner is different from everyone else. While working on new technology to accelerate the healing process in animals, he is exposed to gamma radiation. Instead of killing him, the radiation turns him into the Hulk, a nearly mindless green behemoth. General Ross is tasked to contain the monster before it can endanger San Francisco, California. Thank you, Peter Lynn.
Yes, thank you. So can I tell you about an experience I had with this movie?
Tell me.
So, this still hurts to this day, but my mom actually somehow, like, there was on the radio, like, hey, you can be an extra for this movie.
Oh, man.
And so my mom, like, called the radio station or called this thing and actually got us booked to be, like, extras. Because this filmed in San Francisco and Berkeley.
Yeah.
And then my mom, like, the day of, like, decided she didn't want to drive out to San Francisco. So I didn't get to be an extra in this movie.
Where did you live at the time?
I was in Morgan Hill.
Oh, not even that far.
Where I grew up. Yep.
I'm sorry,
so
Michael.
I didn't get to be in this movie.
It's okay. It wasn't that good of a movie.
No, it wasn't. So what do you remember about this movie?
The Hulk was way too green, I thought.
Yeah, so I remember seeing this movie in middle school. I was in 8th, 9th grade when this movie came out. And I remember at the time kind of liking it, but thinking it was really long.
Oh my god, 2 hours and 18 minutes of, oh my god, just dragging.
The thing that's weird is that's not long for a modern movie.
I know.
Like, most of the superhero movies are like 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, now, but they're really good now, too.
Right. And I remember thinking, so when I went to go watch these movies, I was telling Katrina about it. I'm like, man, I'm not looking forward to watching this like 3-hour Hulk movie. Like, I honestly thought it was 3 hours going into it. And then like I start to watch it. I'm like, oh, this is only like 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is going to be a breeze.
But
no.
It wasn't. No, it hurt.
I fell asleep 3 times and had to rewind it 3 times.
I didn't fall asleep, but there's definitely times I was more entranced in my phone than the movie.
Yeah, I was actually playing some PUBG at one point while watching it.
Like, that's a half-hour game, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
The Metacritic score for it is 54.
Yeah, it's not good. Well, the thing that's also weird about this movie is it completely changes the origin of the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
So in the comic books, in the TV show, in the cartoon, in the other movie, he literally is exposed to some gamma radiation and becomes the Hulk when he's angry. In this, his father in the 60s experimented with DNA from starfish, from like some reptile, from a sea cucumber. And so like he has notes like this is all in like the opening of the movie and like cuts and stuff in the opening credits. So it sees him like he cuts open a jellyfish and it's like regeneration, and then like a sea cucumber it's like tissue hardening, and then a reptile for toxin resistance and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would cut to like him cutting apart the animals to writing down notes to
computer
screens and like DNA and like it's weird.
And like in the opening credits, like the Hulk logo showed up as like the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Like just the letters, the like block comic book letters. And then it like transformed in like chromosome looking things. So it was like heavy handed, like DNA kind of like references.
Yeah.
So in this one, David Banner, who is played by, I don't know who the young version of him is, but the adult version is played by Nick Nolte.
Yeah, the old ones.
And he doesn't look anything like his younger self. Like, there's no way. And now, granted, this is back before the days of us digitally de-aging people, but, like, there's no way that guy became Nick Nolte. And he is told that, like, a young General Ross, who also doesn't look anything like... Why can I not think of his name right now?
Sam Elliott.
Thank you, Sam Elliott, who's great. I love Sam Elliott. I think he was great as Thunderbolt Ross.
He was pretty good.
It's like, no, the military's not going to take DNA testing anymore. So he tested on himself, impregnates his wife, and so basically this Hulk has his DNA manipulated, and all the gamma radiation did was like make the DNA like happen.
Yeah.
Like actually kickstart his DNA. So it was like, it kind of took away the classic origin.
Yeah, well, it also gave him a little bit of resiliency, right? Like, I don't know.
But not really. So that's the thing is, so he was working on nanobots and somehow working with nanobots and gamma radiation to make people heal.
Yeah.
Right? And did I miss something? Like he got injected with nanobots because...
I think it was in the air. That little bag that deflated, put it in the air in there.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, basically what happens is there's an accident, like a guy is like working on some stuff. He's like soldering some stuff, and then he like drops something, and then he reaches, and then like something touches it, and it short circuits and activates. And the guy freaks out. So Bruce Banner jumps and like covers the gamma radiation part and absorbs all the gamma radiation.
I don't think that would work very well.
No, it wouldn't. Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense. Like, it's not a grenade and you're jumping on a grenade. Like, it's radiation.
He blocked all the radiation. He absorbed it all.
It
wouldn't pass through him or go around him at all.
No. And then so, like, he wakes up in the hospital and he's like, my bad knee's my good knee now. And
this isn't everything's funny.
Like, the nanobots work. And I'm like, he didn't get injected. So I thought maybe I missed a line where, like, they thought he was going to die. So they injected him with the nanobots to see if they would cure him. But they were just in the air, like he breathed them in or something?
Well, like we saw the bag deflate, and it, like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but we see the bag deflate and it goes into nothing, I guess. But he was there to inhale it? I don't know. Because the other guy, Harper, I think, or something
had
like
a gas
that.
mask.
Yeah, he got the gas mask to cover himself. But it still doesn't make sense.
It made no sense. None of this movie really made sense. Like, what are your highlights, or what are your takeaways from this movie?
I just can't get over the last... half hour of the movie where he fights his dad. I guess we can get to that, but that's the only thing in my mind.
None of
really
this movie made sense. Like, the special effects were weird.
Oh my god.
And so this movie gets panned all the time critically and from like viewers for like the bad CGI Hulk.
Yeah.
But that's not even the worst special effect. Like when he transforms, like I actually sent you a video and I'll probably post it on our Instagram when this episode comes out. But when he like gets on the gamma radiation, it pops up and it does like the most generic Photoshop 1 filter of like he turns all pixelated and gray and then like turns green and then pixelated gray, and it's like the worst effect ever.
Oh man.
And then they're like the weird comic book panels.
Yeah, some of those transitions were smooth, but some of them were just very awkward.
It was hard to track what's going on. So the first time he transforms in the Hulk, it's like showing him from like 4 different angles in different comic book things, and it was really hard to track. Like, what am I looking at? Which one should I look at? And it was just confusing. And then like there's parts where it was really dumb. Like there's one part where like he's upset with so Betty has like an ex named like Talbot who's working for the government and her father, and he's trying to like buy out like Stanford's scientific program. Like they're working for Stanford.
Is it Stanford?
I believe so. It's either Stanford or UCSF.
Yeah, one of those. Whatever. Some college.
Because it was up in the hills, so it kind of looks
Berkeley.
like Stanford. It could have been Berkeley.
I don't know.
It didn't actually
really
say,
matter.
but it's Berkeley, UCSF, or Stanford, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they're working at the university. So it's not like the military owns that. Like they're trying to we're going to have a hostile takeover kind of thing. It's like, you can't just buy a science experiment from the school. Like it doesn't work that way. But there's like this weird effect where like he's really angry at Talbot. So you see like one camera with him, one camera with Bruce, and then one camera with Betty. And it's just like, it's really awkward. And then the one with Betty transitions into Talbot. So for like 2 seconds, like he's on two different screens, and it doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't. You know who did the panel thing really well was 24. I don't know if you ever watched it.
No, I never really watched that show.
24 did it great. And that's the only one I've ever seen that did a good job of doing the paneling.
Like, but this one didn't just have panels. Like the panels would move and shift, and sometimes there would be like a square panel and then a triangular one and then a circle one, and then sometimes the panel you'd see 4 panels and 3 of them would stay the same, and then one would just shift, and it was really confusing and hard to watch.
Yeah, it was.
And then there's like a really bad one at the end where there's an explosion and Talbot is like thrown, and then it does like a freeze frame, and you just see the one panel with the explosion, like the fire flying,
and he's like outlined.
He's outlined in white, and he's a still frame. Yeah. Like it's just a still of him.
That was stupid.
Like they're trying to make it. The problem with this movie is that I don't think it knew what it wanted to do.
It was trying to be a comic book, but a movie.
But it also was trying to be like smarter. So like in interviews and stuff, like Ang Lee was saying, like it was trying to be more. It didn't want to be as like comic booky as the ones around the time. So this came out a year after Spider-Man.
Way more comic booky.
It came out a couple years after the X-Men movies, which those are considered like the movies that started the comic books like craze, right? And it was like it wanted to be like an art film, but it also was trying to be a comic book film, and it just didn't work.
Didn't work, guys. I'm sorry.
And it tried to be all cerebral and deep, and it didn't work.
They made a very strong point of not killing anyone also.
Yeah, it's weird. Well,
it was weird.
Yeah, they made a big point, like
especially that tank scene where he's like destroying the tanks, and he threw one like half a mile, and those guys are just fine.
Yeah, or like they like crawl out of it later, or like he takes the tank's like barrel and like points it at the guy in the tank.
Yeah,
yeah, that's weird.
And then like when he breaks out of the containment, he's just like roaring at people and like I don't know,
it's really weird. And the other thing that's really weird about it is what causes him to Hulk out is super weird. Like the first time he turns into the Hulk, he literally has a dream about Betty talking to Talbot. And then he turns into the Hulk. Like instantly. And it's like, really? You have a dream and that upsets you enough to turn into the Hulk?
Yeah, man.
And like in this one, he's emotionally crippled. Like she's up, like they broke up because he doesn't show emotion.
Yeah.
And like there's in the flashback scenes, it's like as a kid, he gets like a kid hits him in the face with like a stick, and he's got like a huge welt on his face and everything like that. And he's like turning green a little bit, but they're like any other kid would be like bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's Bruce. Sense. He just bottles everything up.
Yeah.
And then like, how did you feel about Nick Nolte's character?
He's just a weirdo. Like,
there was no consistency with him.
Oh man!
Like there are parts.
He was supposed to be like mentally like deranged,
right?
So, I mean,
but there are.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like he's being a weirdo. Like he's got so many levels of different craziness, but he wants to be his father. But he also wants to kill him. Experiment, like
right. So. It's weird is at the beginning of the movie when he finds out that he's having a kid, he's like in a notebook, it's like must find cure.
Yeah.
And like he seems to have like a good relationship with him, and he buys him like the little T-Rex like puppet that he's playing with, and then he visits him at the hospital, and he's like, I'm your father, and he tells him like what's going on.
Can I just ask why he didn't turn there? There's no way he didn't get angry when this fucking crazy little homeless looking dude is like holding him down on a hospital bed.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. And then but like a little dream turns him, and then like when Talbot's slapping the shit out of him, it takes him like 5 minutes of getting the shit beat out of him before he turns into the Hulk.
Can I say Talbot definitely should have died with that encounter with the Hulk?
Yeah, he throws him out the window.
He has like 3 broken bones.
Yeah, well, they say he can hardly walk. He's got like a broken arm, broken leg, broken ribs, and he's got like a neck brace.
Yeah,
but yeah, but anyway, getting back to the father, like he throughout the movie is like, you're my son and I love you and I just want to like help you. And then other he's like, I want the power. I want to take it out of you. I gave you life. Now you should give me life and their power. And then he sends he mutates his dogs and sends them to go kill his girlfriend for no reason.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And what was with the poodle?
Right?
I get the pit bulls because pit bulls are intimidating. I have 3 pit bulls, by the way, so don't think I'm judging. I love my pit bulls, but I get it. They're intimidating. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They are.
I didn't realize there were pit bulls. Like they don't really look like pit bulls. At least 2
of them are half, and I have 1 full on pit bulls.
Got it. Okay, they're mutts.
Little
and the dreams
mutts
in this movie don't make sense. Like there are a bunch of dreams.
Yeah,
and even before he got exposed to the gamma radiation, he sees the Hulk in his dreams.
Oh no, that was in the parents' bedroom, right?
Yeah,
that was weird. Like Hulk in the shadows, like this Hulk.
Yeah, he sees the Hulk throughout, and then let's see. There's another dream where he wakes up and he explains to Betty. Betty has a dream where Bruce strangles her for no reason.
Yeah,
and Ross is General Ross is super upset because he finds out who his father is, and he's he's evil because his father was evil, and it's
he's gonna follow the same path as his father.
It doesn't even make any sense. And then
he doesn't even
throughout
know who his dad is.
Yeah, and then throughout the movie, he just has these weird dreams, or when he's shaving.
And the Hulk grabs him.
He sees the Hulk. Yeah, what?
I don't know. He's getting overtaken by the Hulk. Maybe, I don't know. Internal struggle.
And that was before he got exposed as well. It doesn't make any sense.
Confusing.
Yeah. What's weird? Okay, so that didn't make any sense.
I really I got a kick out of when General Ross is almost interrogating him, and he says, "You were 4 years old. There's no way you don't remember."
I don't remember much from when I'm 4 years old.
I was like, what are you talking about?
And then he's he actually has this moment. He's you repressed these memories and everything. But then he's okay, here's my note. I just scrolled to it. He goes, Ross interrogates Bruce, talks down to him, realizes he has repressed and blocked the memories, is still a dick. And he goes, you won't be allowed in labs beyond the newest style of herbal hair gel.
Yeah.
And he says, if you ever come within 1,000 miles of Betty, I'll lock you up forever.
Was it 1,000 miles?
Or 1,000 feet or something. Yeah, 1,000 yards. If you ever see Betty again, it's that cannot be constitutionally okay.
Well, he kept saying the rest of your natural life. He said it 4 times in the movie.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It's insane. It's insane. This movie makes zero sense. Yeah. And then...
Wait, so that the gamma radiation, the original Nick Nolte bomb, what? Can you explain to me what happened?
I have no idea. Was he working with gamma radiation?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that bomb was green.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they made this world super small that Betty and him actually she saw him as a child.
Yeah.
And also he was a blonde. Those child actors looked nothing like him. It was funny looking and blonde. There was no way that kid turned out to be the handsome Eric Bana.
I kind of look like Eric Bana.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
You're way more handsome.
Oh, thanks, Mike. We're friends.
So the other thing is, so you mentioned the last half hour of the movie. Why don't you tell us what happened?
I don't really know. So
to the best of your ability.
The Hulk is detained. He's in some weird warehouse, chained to some generator thing. In a pitch black room. It's super weird. And they have Nick Nolte, who is David Banner, right? And he also has powers. He can... phase into other objects or absorb other objects? So he becomes a version of the Absorbing Man, which is a super powerful comic book character who was actually given powers by Loki. So yeah, they make him a version of the Absorbing Man. So he can absorb the properties of anything he touches. So if he touches metal, he becomes metal, and in this he becomes water, and he does all these kind of things. How did he gain control of his powers so quickly? That's the thing that doesn't really make sense. Also, how he got those powers from taking... So he put Bruce's DNA in dogs, and they became these, Hulk dogs. Yeah. Right? They basically became Hulk versions of it, so they kind of make sense. And he explains that they're unstable. And so, the Hulk beats them up enough, and they just, explode. And so he experiments on himself, and he goes, I'm unstable, and that's why he wants to get a hold of Bruce. Right. And... But he has completely different powers. He can absorb anything, and... What's weird is he doesn't seem to really have control. He's walking and he
lifts up his foot and like an entire catwalk moves with him.
Yeah.
And but then, like, when he goes to fight the Hulk, he can control it. It didn't make any sense.
He was absorbing the Hulk's power, too, which is...
Yeah, but before you even get to that point, so he's in that weird room, and he, like, picks up a power cord, but it's like an industrial one that's, like, 6 inches in diameter. There's no way you could bite into that. There's no way. I don't know. So he like bites into it, and then General Ross is like, "Turn it on!" And like he absorbs, and he becomes like a 50-foot lightning monster.
What was their plan there? Like, what were they doing?
I don't know.
Why was he in the room with the Hulk? And 2, what was their plan?
Also, the reason he was in the room with the Hulk was he was going to turn himself in, and his only demand was like, "Hey, just let me see my son one time, and then I'll turn myself in, and I'll let you know all the secrets that I have and everything like that."
Got it.
And he kind of like says, like, I know what's going on with the Hulk, and I can tell you about it, right? But then the effect makes no sense. So it flashes, you see clouds and lightning, and you just see the Hulk teleporting from cloud to cloud.
Well, you can also see David Banner, the Lightning Man now, holding the Hulk as a Lightning Man through each of those flashes.
It doesn't make any sense, but it just looked like a still. Like, it was literally like a still photo of him in one cloud, and then a still photo of another. Like, it just
every lightning bolt, you could see a flash of them.
Yeah, it made no sense. And then he becomes so the Hulk talks, and he's like, "Give me your power." He's like, "Take it all."
Yeah,
and I don't even know what happened. So he turns into like a gas bubble, and then the gas bubble is showing flashbacks from earlier in the movie.
I don't know, man.
And then I guess they drop a bomb and they explode.
He can absorb all that electricity and all this energy from the area, but somehow he's siphoning energy off the Hulk, and it's too much for him to handle.
I don't know, man.
And then he explodes.
And then they're like, "There's no way he's alive." And then it cuts to like 1 year later, and she, like, Jennifer Connelly is talking to Ross, and she's like, "I don't know. He's got to be dead." And he's like, "If he contacted you, would you tell him?" And she goes, no, but I'm under surveillance, and you would know anyway." And then it cuts to like some random jungle, and he's like running like a little medical clinic, and some bad guys are trying to take the medical stuff. And he's like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
In Spanish.
And he's got like a stupid CGI frog on his hat.
Yeah.
And then you just hear a roar. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Just that whole, like, they could have ended the movie before the fight, I guess.
Well, the thing that's weird is that this movie has like 3 villains, but not one of them are like good villains. So there's like the whole like Ross wants to contain him, and then you had the Talbot, and like Talbot went over Ross's head and took over, and Ross, like, he's trying to take his DNA, and ultimately like turns him to the Hulk on purpose to try to take like DNA from him as the Hulk.
Stupid. What?
And then he escapes and moves through like the desert, and he like takes on the tanks, then he takes on helicopters, and like that scene was honestly that stuff was all right, but it was just kind of hokey how he would stop to like make sure he didn't kill anybody when he's supposed to be mindless.
Yep. And what's the deal with the sizing? Like, how is he so small, and then he like grew
each time
in
he gets
size?
angrier, he got bigger. So he started at like 8 feet, and then the second time he turned to the Hulk, he was angrier, so he turned into 12 feet. And then
there's
a
time he was getting shot, and he got bigger. Like,
yeah, the angry he got, the bigger he got.
Weird.
Yeah. So just before we move on to the next one, just a couple of facts about this movie.
Tell me, Mike.
So they originally wanted Ed Norton for this.
Yeah.
But he turned it down because he thought the script was bad.
Well,
and Ed Norton is a huge fan of the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
The actors hated the split screen stuff because it made it take way too long. So like the first time he turns into the Hulk and it's like 4 screens, they shot it from 4 different angles separately, and you had to do it separately so you wouldn't see the camera.
Yeah.
So Eric Bana was like, it was exhausting because I'm like thrashing around and everything. He hated it. And then they mentioned that like his skin was 4 times thicker than Kevlar, and it's like, it's not the thickness of Kevlar that makes it strong.
No.
And it was all these stupid things. Like, yeah, but they wanted to, and like Ang Lee did the motion capture for this movie, the director.
And
it's so weird because he has so many better movies than this. It's so weird that he fucked this up so much.
I don't know what happened. It was bad.
It was really bad.
I don't know.
And it just didn't make sense. Like, the Hulk was there the whole time and just needed to radiate. I don't know. And there's like a flashback within a flashback scene. It didn't make any sense. Like, there was just nothing. Like, this movie tried to be cerebral and deep, and it failed.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie.
Anyway, let's move on to
2008.
2008.
This one is The Incredible Hulk.
Yes, it is. So you got a summary?
It's already better. It's already better in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Here we go. This one's from Graham Croon. Depicting the events after the Gamma Bomb, The Incredible Hulk tells the story of Dr. Bruce Banner, who seeks a cure to his unique condition, which causes him to turn into a giant green monster under emotional stress. Whilst on the run from military, which seeks his capture, Banner comes close to a cure, but all is lost when a new creature emerges, the Abomination.
Yep.
I like this movie. I thought the Abomination was really cool.
I like this movie too. I saw this movie multiple times in theaters. I have it on Blu-ray. This movie's interesting because it's technically part of the MCU.
Yeah.
But Marvel does not actually own the rights to the Hulk. There's like a weird thing. They don't have the rights to the Hulk for a solo movie. They only have the rights to him as a ensemble character.
Huh. That's interesting.
The only reason that they actually made Guardians of the Galaxy was they honestly are like, if it bombs, it's fine. They were going to use Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to kind of do World War Hulk, but Guardian of the Galaxy was like super successful, so they decided to do Thor Ragnarok and have like not World War Hulk, Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Right. So their whole plan with Guardians of the Galaxy was just to use it to basically do a backdoor sequel to this movie.
But it was
because
awesome.
Universal doesn't want to share the Hulk, so they can't actually make a Hulk movie. So this was right after Iron Man. It came out the same year. And it obviously, like, the post-credit scenes has Tony Stark in it, and they mentioned Stark Industries a couple of times.
They should have,
but technically, it's a Universal movie. It's not technically a Marvel movie. And, like, the first Iron Man was technically a Paramount movie made by, like, a joint venture. Now Marvel produces all their own stuff through Disney.
So are we ever going to get a Hulk standalone?
I mean, Mark Ruffalo is like, I would love to, but, like, don't hold your breath for it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But honestly, I think the Hulk works better with like an ensemble.
I just really want to see a Hulk versus Wolverine.
That would be cool. And like with the whole Fox deal going through, that is something we can see in the future.
It's gonna be cool.
I hope so. But the problem, I get why Hulk movies are hard to do, because it's like the Hulk is a mindless creature in most iterations, so it's like you can't tell a story. You can only show him fighting things, so it's kind of like the newest season of The Walking Dead. The first few episodes has nothing but battle stuff, so there's no story, so there's nothing that kind of draws you in. You can't just do mindless action. You have to have some sort of story element, and that comes from the people.
Yeah.
So you got to find that balance. I think this movie did it better. Like right off the bat, this movie, like there's no origin story, and like there's an interesting history about this movie, and I'll go into it like after we talk about it. But they tell like the origin of Hulk through a series of flashbacks
just
in the opening intro.
Right in the beginning.
So it jumps into he's been the Hulk for 5 years.
5 years
already.
And he almost killed Betty and General Ross.
Right. So like this movie starts in like Brazil, and then like it has a thing like 158 days without an incident. Yeah. And he's like working as like a maintenance man and janitor guy like
in some bottling
facility. He cuts himself. And his blood gets in a bottle. Stan Lee drinks it, and ultimately that's what starts the thing. They were able to track him down, and he's on the run. So the pacing of this movie is good because it's like a fugitive type movie. So he's like on the run, and then he turns into the Hulk several times. So you get like a Hulk scene within 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that was cool.
Starting, and then you got another one about halfway through, and then the big one.
I like that he's training himself to try and calm down and all that. Like basically control himself becoming the Hulk.
Yeah, like it makes sense that he's been doing this for 5 years, and he's got some tools. Like he's training with like a yogi.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu and a yogi kind of thing to calm down. He's got like a wristwatch with a heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
So like there's little flourishes in this that are pretty cool, and I kind of liked how we got the Hulk right away, but it's like in the shadows, so you kind of get teased, but we get some Hulk action.
Yeah.
And then you get the daytime scene, and then you get the big one. So like you get Hulk throughout the movie, so that's pretty good.
I love that this Hulk killed people.
Oh yeah, he straight murdered a bunch of soldiers. So there's this like bully guy who's like hitting on this girl who's like way too attractive to be working at a soda factory.
And he's hella old too.
Yeah, and so like Bruce Banner walks up and he's like, "You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry," and everything. So
it doesn't make any sense how he looked that up.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But it worked.
Yeah, like hungry is different. Like it's nothing like angry in Spanish. Well, it's Brazil, so it'd be Portuguese.
Yeah, but if you're looking it up in an English-Portuguese dictionary, angry and hungry are not even going to be
nothing
close.
alike. No. So they almost get in like a fight there, and like the foreman's like, "Nah, knock it off." And then like while he's running away from the soldiers later on, like a few scenes later, he like ends up there, and like the bullies follow him, and like he turns into the Hulk, and he like throws this guy through the entire factory. Like he's going through machines, he's going through windows. Like this guy dies.
Definitely.
He like smashes some soldiers with like some machinery, and then they talk about how he's killed multiple people as the Hulk. Like he's killed 2 hunters, he's killed a few police and everything like that. So like this Hulk is dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous. He's just a big killer.
And then yeah, so he does that, and like this whole movie has like Captain America references and stuff like that. So they ultimately give Emil Blonsky, played by Tim Roth, like a downgraded version of the Captain America serum.
How is he a American soldier?
He's not. He is like world police. I don't know, because he was a British soldier.
But he's working for General Ross.
I don't know, dude.
Sorry.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry to perplex you, Michael.
So he gets the serum, and like it's kind of a cool scene. Like they're like fighting on this like college campus, and he's like doing flippy flips and like shooting with a pistol, but it's like you still can't take on the Hulk with a pistol.
Way.
Like even if you have super like, so he gets like kicked, like straight on like kicked full force, and you see him fly like 100 yards, and he's bouncing and skipping across like an empty park, and then hits a tree at like 90 miles an hour.
It's fine.
And like every bone in his body's broken, and then he like heals. So it's like there's some cool stuff in this movie.
Well, it was a super soldier serum that
right.
helped him out, which was cool. It was a good idea. And then they used his blood or whatever.
And then he turns into the Abomination,
which was awesome. I really liked that the Abomination could talk.
Yeah. The thing that's weird is he didn't look anything like the comic book version
of the Abomination. No.
Yeah, and the reason they did that
more looked like Doomsday in DC.
Yeah, kinda. He almost looks like a Doom monster.
Yeah, I can see that.
But they they didn't give him like this famous like big ears, because the director was like, the Hulk's a savage. He would have just ripped those ears off or bitten them off. And I'm like,
it's true.
I guess so. But that could have been cool if they had him and they showed that.
A lot of the action in this was really cool too.
It was solid. Like I don't like. At the time, I remember thinking like that fight scene at the end was like brutal and amazing.
Yeah,
I don't think it holds up to like any like the Hulk fights in the newer movies, like the Hulk
even the
versus
Hulk
Iron
Buster
Man
fight.
Yeah, the Hulk versus Hulkbuster suit is amazing, and like the Hulk versus Thor fight in Thor Ragnarok, and even like the Hulk fighting like the Leviathan floating monsters in Avengers is insane.
I mean, for 2008, I think it was a good fight. I mean, he broke apart that cop car to use his like boxing gloves,
which is straight out of like the video games.
It was cool.
So like this Hulk is mean looking.
Yeah, he looks like the Hulk.
He's nothing but muscle.
Like you can see all the muscles rippling and everything. Oh yeah.
I remember at the time, so they made a big deal. Like, so I'm really into the behind the scenes stuff, and they talked about how this Hulk kind of looks like Ed Norton, because the Eric Bana Hulk didn't look anything like him. Like It's just like it looks like a jock wrestler dude kind of thing, right?
Yep.
This one, like they're like Ed Norton has a scar on his cheek. This Hulk has a scar on his cheek, but really he didn't like. And I remember at the time I was like, yeah, this guy looks like it could be Ed Norton turning the Hulk. He doesn't look like him at all.
He looks more like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Which I was appreciative of.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and like he was consistent size, and he was just brutal and like got angrier, and just sheer tenacity. Like that final fight, like he finally like gets the upper hand, and like the Abomination is just like elbowing him and kicking him and everything, and he just takes it. He's just like choking him out.
Dude, he like rips his elbow out.
Yeah, he rips an elbow spike off of Abomination and like starts stabbing Abomination with his own spike.
He was gonna like decapitate him with those
chains,
and then but Betty stopped him for some reason,
which is stupid.
Very,
because Abomination killed hella people,
and then that clap to stop the fire. I
don't
think
I gotta
that would
tell
have
you,
worked.
I've done that with candles
to stop fire.
I had to put out candles after seeing this movie. Katrina's really into candles. She has like hundreds of candles, and I've done it several times. It works.
Do you have big hands, Mike?
Yeah,
like Hulk hands.
No, not that big. But like for proof of concept, I'm not that strong, but I'm strong enough to put out a candle. I can imagine the Hulk being as strong as he is putting out a big fire.
I guess.
The proof is like there's a working concept. I'm willing to believe it because I've done it. One time I did it and I clapped hard enough that it was like a little tea light candle and the wax like spilled out of the candle when I did it. And I had to clean up the wax.
That's pretty funny, Mike.
Yeah, it is pretty funny, actually.
But I thought it was cool. I mean, it was a cool scene. The clap move is something out of the video game, too.
Yeah. What I kind of like about this, it wasn't on purpose, but, like, so Lou Ferrigno was in both these movies, and he played, like, the same thing, like a security guard. Stan Lee was in the original one. He was a yeah. In this one, what's funny is, Martin Starr, who plays, like, Guilfoyle in,
in Silicon Valley.
And he plays the teacher in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that it's the same character. Like, he was just, like, a student here, and, like... Because in Spider-Man Homecoming, there's a point where he's like, I could never lose a student again. Like, I'd like to think that he feels like he's responsible for, like, people dying on the college campus because he let the Hulk in.
And he's just, like, the pizza hanging over the
thumbs
screen.
up.
Yeah, thanks.
So, the thing that's weird about this movie, like, I get it. But there's a point where Betty, like, really wants to bang Bruce.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't.
I can't get too excited.
Right. And it's like...
Not even a little
So I looked
excited?
it up in the comic books, and yeah, not even a little bit, like, because he would turn into, like, a fire extinguisher inside her.
Oh, God.
I've looked it up, and I guess in the comic books he really can't. Like, he's had sex as the Hulk, but in the comic books it's implied that maybe he shouldn't.
Was it She-Hulk?
But I can't find it. Yeah, he bangs She-Hulk in the comic book, in, like, the in the Old Man Logan stuff.
That's gotta be scary.
Yeah, they're all, like, inbred. It's weird, because that's his cousin. The next scene, it goes, so... She's, like, really hot and bothered, and he has to, like, stop, and then it cuts to General Ross, and he's like, it's been 5 years, and we couldn't catch him. He's too smart to use credit cards, and too smart to this. So I immediately thought, 5 years? So he knows he can't get too excited, he turns into the Hulk. So my question is, did he turn into the Hulk while masturbating one time, or did he, like, get really lonely during this 5 years on the run? Like, like, a hooker and, like, tear a hooker in half.
Serious case of green balls.
But I'm saying, like, if he knows that this would happen... Did he do it before and turn into the Hulk?
Oh, man.
Like, does he know from past experience?
I mean, no. I mean, he probably just knows that his heart rate was getting too high.
But is it just his heart rate, or is that just him assuming and playing it safe?
I think he's assuming.
That's a long time.
You really thought about this, didn't you, Mike?
I did, man. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, did he turn into the Hulk while masturbating? Did he shoot a hole through a roof? Did he grab a hooker in, like, a moment of desperation? And
was it one of those
kill
hunters?
Her? Oh my God. So yeah, that's weird. That
is weird.
And so, like, this movie has a bunch of comic book references. So there's like like, obviously they allude to Tony Stark a bunch. They allude to Captain America several times.
Yep.
But yeah, anything else you want to talk about? Because I could talk about this movie a lot. I really liked this movie.
The like sonar weapon they used on him.
Oh, the Sonics? That was cool.
That was cool, but why is that the only time they used it?
Because he destroyed them.
Yeah, I know, but, like, obviously bullets and missiles don't work.
That shit's probably, like, millions of dollars each, and he destroyed 2 of them.
I guess.
And, like, bringing those into a city, he probably can't use them.
Well, let me just use rocket launchers in the middle of New York.
Right. I did like the scene where, like, they actually, like, cured the Hulk, but it turns out that it only cures, like, that outburst.
Yeah.
Which was not practical, so you'd have to be hooked up in, like, an IV to do it. But yeah, he jumps out of that helicopter, hits the ground as a human, and then turns into the Hulk, which was pretty cool. Like, that fight scene was awesome. Like, I think this movie's worth watching. Like, anyone should watch it. It's just, it's hard to watch now because Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the same guy, and he's drastically different.
Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo are the same person.
Right.
Same exact person.
If you don't have anything else, I'll kind of tell you a little bit about the history of this movie.
Tell me.
Okay. So, the director wanted Mark Ruffalo in the movie.
But he said no.
But no, he wanted to do it. But Marvel was like, Mark Ruffalo isn't a big enough name to lead the movie.
What?
At the time, he wasn't. In 2008, he really, like, he's a great actor and he's in a lot of stuff, but he's not a leading man.
I guess.
So I kind of get that. Edward Norton has, like, a big following from guys our age because of Fight Club.
Yep, definitely.
so people love him. Like I know so many people are like that's his favorite actor because they love Fight Club so much.
Yep.
So
Tyler
Ed Norton
Durden
decided to do the movie, and he wanted to rewrite the script. So he's rewritten the script for some of his other movies. So he rewrote the script. He didn't get credit for it because with SAG rules, like Zach Penn still got the rights, like the writing credit, and he was fine with that. So to do the movie, his demands were he got writing credit, or not writing credit. He got to rewrite the scripts, and that he wanted a cut of the movie. So he actually like edited the movie and got a cut.
Cool.
So in his version of the movie, Captain America's in this movie.
Oh, really?
And like on the Blu-ray, there's a deleted scene where you see Captain America.
Who played Captain America?
Well, you don't actually like he's like in the ice.
Oh, dang.
So in the I don't know if it's an Age of Ultron or their first Avengers movie. There's a point where Mark Ruffalo talks about putting a gun in his head. Like he's like, I tried to kill myself, and the big guy spit the bullet out.
Yeah.
This movie has that scene in it. And the opening scene, the original opening is like he's out in like Alaska. He tries to like blow his brains out, and he turns into the Hulk and like destroys the gun and like spits the bullet out. Gnarly. In that scene, you can see Captain America like embedded in the ice, like you see a red and blue costume in the shield.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I wish they had added those things.
So this movie, apparently they tested the movie. His version tested the best. It was like 18 minutes longer. And Marvel, like he was under the impression they were going to use his version. And then at the premiere, it wasn't. It was the version that we watched. So he was like, pissed. So this movie came out. Avengers came out in 2012. And they were filming it from like 2010, 2011. And they decided not to cast him, bring him back. So there was some bad blood. And at the time, like I remember being really upset because I loved this movie at the time. And like Marvel was doing some shady things, like they didn't bring back Terrence Howard, like they wanted to pay him less because they were paying Robert Downey Jr. more for Iron Man 2, so that's why we got Don Cheadle.
Yep.
They tried to pay Mickey Rourke only like $200,000 for that movie for Iron Man 2. So they were doing a lot of weird, shady things at the time. So I was kind of like at team like Ed Norton, like you should bring him back. Now, granted, I think Mark Ruffalo killed it. He's a little bit more awkward and like a little bit more comical, but I think he's done a great job.
Fantastic job.
The problem is now when we did the Italian Job and I was looking at the stuff and finding out that everybody hated working with Ed Norton on the Italian Job.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, maybe Ed Norton's just a dickhead.
But is he?
Apparently, like I've looked into some of his other movies and apparently nobody likes working with him.
With
other than like Wes Anderson.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, but apparently he's a dickhead.
Maybe Brad Pitt likes him.
No, Brad Pitt hates him.
I believe it.
I have no idea, honestly.
I believe you, Michael. And that's what I'm going with from now on forever.
Yep. But the other thing, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. So the end of the movie, just kind of talk about it. It kind of ties in with Avengers. He is meditating, and then he looks up, smiles, and then his eyes turn green.
Yeah.
And everything, implying that he has control of the Hulk.
Control to turn into the Hulk.
Yeah. But he's smiling. Like, I feel like he wouldn't be smiling unless he had a little bit of control. But in Avengers, he just turns into Hulk. He's like, that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Yeah.
So he can kind of control it to an extent, like suppressing it, which I think is cool.
Well,
so
he
like
even
this
said
movie,
in the helicopter that all he really wants to do is direct it somehow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting things this movie did. And I think it's drastically different than the Hulk we get now. Like, the new Hulk is, a little bit more comical. Can talk. Like, this one can talk a couple of times. Like, he says, like, leave me alone at the beginning of the movie.
Baby.
Hulk smash. Yeah, and, like, the new Hulk, like, we can talk, like, the Hulk in Avengers is, like, the way he fights. I love the new design, how he's, like, 1920s, 1930s strongman, kind of, like, wrestler kind of Hulk. Like, he looks more like the comic book Hulk.
Yeah.
How he kind of like crouches on all fours because his arms are a little too long. And he looks like Mark Ruffalo.
He does.
Yeah, like, so I really like the Hulk that we have now.
I think it's really cool, really fun.
And like Marvel is the ones who are actually making these movies now, and they've really figured out how to do the Hulk well. And I like that they've made him smarter. So in like Thor Ragnarok, he's been the Hulk solid 2 years, so he's gotten a little bit more intelligent, and the Hulk can talk now. I'm really excited to see in like Infinity War, like that Hulk interacting with Black Widow, because like he's kind of got a thing for her.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see where this goes now.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, Mike. It's really cool. I really liked him in Ragnarok. I thought he was really comical, which was really good.
And then just kind of talk about, I want to go back to Abomination. Like, I thought, I really liked how they gave him, like, he was, like, ripped, like, as a person, and then, like, they gave him a little bit more, but then he got kind of, like, skinny and emaciated, because they mention, like, in Captain America, that you become your true nature, and at one point they say, how are you feeling? He's like, feeling like a monster. So he's getting out, like, he's got these weird spines on his back, even though he still looks human, and he's like,
wouldn't they do a psych eval before even giving him that?
You'd think they would.
I would think that.
But Thunderbolt Ross is, like, super into getting the Hulk. Like, he's so he's blinded by his desire to get him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's really fucked up?
What?
That you would send these, like, Navy SEAL, Green Beret style, like, they say, like, I got you some, like, special forces guys to go out and not tell them what to expect.
Oh, yeah, dude, that was stupid. Like, well, something was out there. What?
Yeah, and he goes, that was him. And then, like, Emil Blonsky, like, kind of says that. He's like, you can't be doing that. And he goes, don't tell me what you can't do. It's like, all right, we'll talk about it later. And then they get back in the U.S. and he's like, dude, next time I go, like, I'm willing to go and fight this Hulk guy again. Like, I want to.
Yeah.
But you can't, we got to be prepared next time, or you're going to have a bunch of professional tough guys pissing in their panties. Like, I really liked that character.
Blonsky.
And, like, and it ties into, like, in Captain America, their first one, the guy who created the serum was like, the Red Skull was like scary and like looks like a demon guy because he's an evil person. Like, it takes the good and amplifies it, takes the bad and amplifies it. So, like, he wanted to be a monster, so he started to look like a monster. So, like, it tied into that stuff.
Why was he so much smarter than Hulk? Well, not smarter, but, like, why could he be more vocal than the Hulk? I liked it, but I didn't understand it.
Because it's a completely different mechanism. So, yeah, it's just a different mechanism. Like, he also had the super soldier serum and that, and it's a little bit different. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I was fine with it, but I just wondered why.
I just liked how the Hulk in that fight, like, was like, so the Abomination's got these, like, big chains, and he's, like, about to kill, like, Betty and Ross, and Hulk smashes, and he makes him stumble, and he drops the chains, and the chains wrap around his arm, so he's, like, pinned temporarily, so he's, like, choking him out, and, like, Abomination's just cracking him in the side of the face over and over again with his elbow. And, like, the Hulk is so savage and so angry. Like, he doesn't even try to protect himself. Like, there's never a point where he tries to block a punch. Like, he just takes a hit and then punches. Like, he's just a savage, and he's just going and taking these hits and, like, spitting out teeth.
At some point, I thought, like, the jiu-jitsu training would come out, but no, this is just
I was completely cool with it. And he just, like, he's choking him out. But it does make a problem with this universe. So, the MCU kills pretty much all their villains. The only villains that haven't been killed are now the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming and this guy, like the Abomination.
I don't get
where
it.
are they keeping him? Yeah, where is he?
I don't know.
Like, he's got to be somewhere still. Like, if they can contain him, like, who's stronger than the Hulk base level, how are they containing him if they can't contain the Hulk?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed that he hasn't shown up again. Like, I would love for him to show up like Infinity War or show up again, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I doubt it.
So
I think they thought we forgot about him.
I think I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but do you think this was a necessary reboot?
Yes. Absolutely,
I agree. I'm just disappointed that Universal's not playing with Marvel nicely, because they set up the leader. Stearns is the guy who becomes the leader, who has like a big brain and everything, and he got some Hulk blood in him, and his brain started growing. They had Doc Samson, the dad from Modern Family, is in it. Doc Samson is another character who actually gets some Hulk powers and becomes like a strong human guy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like, this movie set up a bunch of stuff, and I'm just sad that we're never going to... It doesn't seem like we're going to get anything out of it.
Well, I doubt it. It was 2008. If they were going to do something...
I feel like they would have done it already.
Yeah, for sure. This was 10 years ago.
So, yeah, oh my God, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
10 years ago, Mike.
Yep.
We're old now.
We is. So...
We're talking about the Hulk.
Yeah, I had fun watching it. It took me forever to watch the other one. Yeah, but I had fun watching this one.
How long was this one? It was almost exactly
I don't know.
The same.
I think it's about the same amount.
52 minutes.
Yeah, so it's actually shorter.
Yeah.
So
but if
they added the 18 minutes, it would have been like less than 10 minutes shorter. It's a fun movie. Like, I think the Hulk has evolved since this movie, and I think the Hulk is a better character now. But I think this is a worthy like entry into like the Hulk mythos.
Yeah, I agree. They don't need a Hulk origins movie either. This explained it pretty well.
And then just really quick, I think we should just kind of talk about who do you think was the better Ross?
Better
like
Betty
General
Ross?
Ross. General Ross.
General Ross.
I think William Hurt.
It
this
depends.
one.
I mean, it depends what kind of Ross you want. William Hurt was a better character overall. I thought the Sam Elliott. Well, that's his name, right? Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
He did a good angry Ross.
But I don't feel like he was that angry. Like I feel like William Hurt's Ross was way angry. Like he yelled like, "Aim it at the green guy! Cut him in half!"
But he's just yelling. It wasn't angry. Like the interrogation with Eric Bana was angry. Yeah.
I do agree that was a good scene, but I feel like this Ross got like a little disheveled and like he was very professional, and like as he became a little bit more unhinged and was just like take him out. And the fact that he was willing to potentially make another monster to fight this, like,
but
he's clearly unhinged.
He had no contingencies in this, which I
exactly.
Like
but that's how he is in the comic books. Like he just like escalates. Like in the comic books, he becomes the Red Hulk.
Yeah,
and like turns himself into a Hulk. So I feel like it was more in line with the comic books.
I guess I could see that.
What about Betty?
I'm gonna go with Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly was way better,
hands down.
Katrina makes fun of this Betty all the time. Like this Betty, played by Liv Tyler, just whispers everything.
Even when she was angry, she was whispering.
And like it's like she's always like Bruce. Like Katrina, every time I watch this movie,
I can't take.
She's always like Bruce. Like she like makes fun of her so much.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Liv Tyler was pretty popular around this time.
Yeah, she was. Like she did Lord of the Rings and Armageddon.
Her as an actress.
No, I don't think she's that great.
I think
I've always
I
thought
texted
she's
you
kind of
that
boring.
she was a second-rate Anne Hathaway.
Oh, you did say that. I don't see that.
I do,
but that's because you're racist and you think all white women are the same.
No, she looks exactly like Anne Hathaway.
She doesn't look anything like Anne Hathaway. Exactly, Anne Hathaway is definitely distinct looking.
Distinctly Liv
She's
Tyler.
Got like different eyes, her nose. I think Anne Hathaway is beautiful, but I think she's very unique looking.
Well, I think Jennifer Connelly did it better, and she's more beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I feel like we could just keep talking about gushing this movie, like just gushing about this movie. I think we should just wrap it up.
Cut it off.
Let's end it. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. You can check us out on the web at MDXpods.com. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Please like and share our content. It helps us grow. So if you like our show, please share it with your friends. We did put together a best of episode. It's awesome. So check that one out. It's really funny. I had a blast putting that together. Also check out our other podcast, Ruin My Childhood. That's going to be coming up on our year anniversary episode of that pretty soon. So check that out. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vero, and patreon.com. If you want to throw a couple bucks our way, help us out. Patreon.com/MDXpods.
Cool. Thanks,
and the
guys.
Audible thing is still a thing.
Hulk smash.
Betty.
If you're going to watch the Hulk, watch The Incredible Hulk. Don't watch Hulk.
And then watch all the MCU stuff.
And read the comics.
Yeah. The cartoon's pretty good, too.
The cartoons are good. The cartoon movies.
Well, those are good, but I also meant like the 90s like Saturday morning cartoon is actually really solid.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually really good. Though. No, he's like regular Hulk, and then
But he says more words.
Yeah, and then he's got like, he actually fights like villains pretty regularly. It's pretty good. I remember it being good.
I really like the Hulk Planet movies.
Yeah, that was fun. It was, I agree. And like the Hulk versus, so there's like, it's a two-parter. It comes like Hulk versus Wolverine and Hulk versus Thor. They're both pretty solid. It's awesome. Like in one Blu-ray.
All right.
Cool. All right.
Later, dudes.
Bye.